So I wanted to send you guys a little video because I found several things that look wrong to me. So I'm not sure, I'll try not to bounce all over the place with you guys, but basically if I go into invoices and I look at the invoice details, you're going to see there's several things I'm noticing. So once again, it is pulling all the start dates back to the original start date. For instance, this one is 10/16/19 to 5/15 for 213 days, which is incorrect. As you can tell, it's a huge charge. So again, that's wrong, and it doesn't matter. I've already gone back and looked at the nurse's notes, the charting, and back billing is not selected. So that needs corrected again. The next thing I saw was that, if you notice, the grand total here is $18,548, and the cost is $14,652. But if I go over to the report where things are imported, which is here, report. Again, this is the only invoice I have in there right now. If I go to report, sorry. This is another thing I want to talk to you about, is that every time I try to open a file, it always shows corrupt. If I hit OK and close out and go do it again, I've never seen this before. It should open it, right? So it opens it. So I'm not sure if that's something on your end. I'm not sure. It doesn't happen with anything else, just whenever I use your program. Oops. Where did it go? Okay, let's do this again. It looks like it's open multiple times. You'll see that, let's see, that the cost is different. 16,875.48, and on the invoice it's 14,652.62. The same here on the house invoice. I'm assuming that's 21,698. On the invoice, it comes out 18,548. So I'll come back to this report to explain to you some changes we need on this. But the pricing is not matching here, and here is not matching what is on the invoice. So that's an issue. Have it here. So as you can see, the totals are completely different. So that creates a problem. Also, when I tried to go into the invoice again, it would allow me to email it. It did not allow me to print it. So if I hit print, it just does nothing. It doesn't go anywhere. or anything. So that's another issue. And like I said, everything here on the dates of service are incorrect. 10/16/19 to 5/15/20. Again, 213 days, and back billing is not checked. The other thing I notice is that it does not put these in alphabetical order by house or A, and it doesn't even matter if I go back to the charting and sort it by patient. It does not sort it in alphabetical order. So these need to be in alphabetical order. So for house, it should start with A to Z, and with part A, it should start from A to Z. So that's another issue. I don't recall seeing that before. So we go back to invoices. Let me go back to the nurse's charting. And we'll go into assistencia. I'm sorry, let's go to June. So they're sorted, as you can see, in alphabetical order. I already did that. And it's not putting them in alphabetical order on the invoice. Araceli Juarez, you can see back billing is not selected, but yet it's pulling back billing from 10/16 to 5/15 for 213 days. So that creates an issue. Also, I'd like to change the way this back billing button is set up. I know you have it set to automatically select back billing if there is a data service prior to the month we're in. For instance, Javier Ramirez is fine, 5/2 to 5/8. But as you can see, I've already had to unselect a lot of them because it picked up all these. So I think what we need to do is have the option on the ones that have a date in the previous month to select back billing, but have it grayed out. So it's up to the rep to select it, or the biller. So instead of it automatically coming up, if it could be grayed out. I'm fine with this one not having anything because there is no stop date. The same as Sanchez as an example. Or I'm sorry, Salcido. No stop date. So that is fine. I'm fine with these not having an automatic population for a back billing. I just would like this to be turned gray and give us the opportunity to select it. And as you can tell, when I did that, it automatically kind of puts me back. It doesn't put me right back where I was. It kind of throws me off. So if you're not really paying attention to the name you're on, for instance, let's do this one. If I click it, I would assume it would just populate back billing and stay in the same screen. But if I click it for Fleming, now Fleming is up here. It's just a little bit awkward. It's just a little bit, kind of takes you back, like, okay, where am I? I know it's not a huge deal, but if you've got a facility with a lot of patients like this one, or some of ours that are even bigger, it does, it will create some confusion because you kind of feel like you've lost your place. So those are a few of the issues I've come up with. I haven't delved any further. This is what I first found when I was trying to run that report. And I noticed the numbers didn't match, which led me to all these other things that look incorrect. So I want to, with that, I need those fixed. I don't even want to check the delivery, or because obviously that's going to be wrong because the nurse's, this charting note is incorrect. So the delivery calculation is going to be wrong. So real quick, if I go back to the dashboard, I go back to my invoices, I go back to the report. Okay, there's this. I'm going to go open file, enable editing. So the issue I have with this is the size of all the columns, right? So these all need to be sized to fit just the characters that are in them. Like for instance, I don't care if the header, if you wrap the text within the header to make all the columns the right size. Let's see. If you want to, wrap it so it goes, I'm not sure how you can do it, but if you notice, like, it just makes the report extra big when it doesn't need to be. There's just like all this extra space in here that just doesn't need to be there. It's just confusing. And then also, as you can see, the invoice amount here, there's no decimals. It should be, a point, even if it's 00, it should be 21,698.00. This one looks fine. This one is rounded. It's got 3 spots. It should be rounding up, so that should be 0.03. All of these, like eclipse numbers and everything, should be centered in the columns. If possible, there's just some that are to the left, some are to the right. It's just kind of sloppy looking, and if we have to print this out, which we will, keep copies in our folders and files before we import it, it just needs to be cleaned up a little bit. But other than that, everything looks okay. I'm just going over my notes to see what else, but that was the main things I found so far that were a little bit off-putting, because it's like we took a step forward, but now we're going back because all the invoicing and the printing and everything seems off. So if you guys could look at this first thing in the morning and email me or call me and let me know as soon as it's corrected, so I can go in and start testing again. I will be working with a rep specifically this week. I have her with me in my office this week to test it with me on her end, and I can't do that because it's not, operating correctly right now. So again, if you could call me or just let me know, I would appreciate that. All right, guys, that's the latest and greatest. Thank you.